Catgirl is a term every one of you might know. A trope that is widely loved. Just take whatever cute anime girl you like, give it a pair of cat ears and maybe a tail, and now you've got a much cuter anime girl. But mankind hasn't limited itself to just cats. There are shark girls, bunny girls, another type of bunny girls, and much more. And nowadays with Uma Musume, they have managed to even make those long-faced beasts called horses into cute adorable anime girls. But animals isn't where we decided to stop, giving us the one thing we actually really needed. Dragon girls. No, not those. Dragon girls. The manga we are going to talk about is Ruri Dragon. It is a manga that was first published as a one-shot on the 28th of December in 2020 and was extremely well perceived by its reader base. Not taking a long time before becoming a full-fledged manga series in 2022 that accumulated really fast a very big reader base that fell in love with its story. Created by a mangaka called Masaoki Shindo that is a complete newcomer to the shonen scene, before being responsible for 4 one-shots and the assistance to Hideyoshi Hirano's Bose Beats, creating at least publicly manga since 2016, so since the age of 17. That's very young, holy. Okay, but what is Bose Beat actually about? Maybe I can find some inspiration for Ruri Dragon in there. I mean, Shindo must definitely have taken some inspiration from that, right? So, Bose Beats follows a group of monks, okay? That's already really nice, who adapted to modern technology and weaponry to fight demons. So it's basically monks, the people that typically engage in prayer and harmony, but with guns. And even though my intro to this video might have given you the feeling that this manga is basically just a story where its biggest strength is featuring a dragon girl, and with Shindo's past in mind, she might also fight a little, basically becoming the next dragon mates, but without the enormous breasts, is partly right. I mean, what is going on there? They're bigger than our own head. Well, wait, how old are they actually? Okay? Only their appearance is 16. Not their actual age. Oh my. Alright, Ruri Dragon is actually a slice of life story that is going way deeper than just Dragon Girl meets school life, and is featuring a very beautiful story about how a girl is partly overcoming more and more of her social anxiety, while simultaneously dealing with a body that is slowly adjusting to become half dragon. The story is starting very simple. Ruri is about to make herself ready for school, brushing her teeth, looking in the mirror and realizing she suddenly has a pair of horns on top of her head that weren't there the day before. She is oddly calm about it, just moving on and just simply asking her mom about why these horns just pop out of her head out of nowhere, if she has an idea, hearing for the first time that it might be because she isn't entirely human, but half real, and that her absent dad is actually not human, but a full-fledged dragon. With this situation, she's allowed to stay home, but decides to just casually go to school as if nothing has happened. It's not as if these horns are going to kill her. I mean, she is not sick. No reason to skip an important day of school, right? So her mom doesn't talk any longer about it, just straight up disappearing. What I really like, this beginning straight up encapsulates Ruri's character like perfectly. In a crisis situation, such as randomly horns growing out of your head, staying so calm, being just, huh? And going to your mother and not even asking directly about it if she can help, but saying, yo, check this out. Just shows how chill of a character she actually is, first sight. And writing-wise, using these circumstances for the perfect introduction is really smart. It's basically the easiest and best way to introduce everything as effective as possible. And Shindo is really good in showing characters' feelings through action and clever dialogue, something they prove over and over again throughout the story. Even though for some reason the mirror isn't working even the slightest. Normally I wouldn't judge art, especially because I really like Shindo's designs, but it makes me mad. Because why are her pupils here so small, but there they're so enormously big? Like, something doesn't add up here. As she goes to school, Ruri is meeting up with her friend Yuka and is shortly explaining what is going on with her new pair of horns on her head. Yuka is receiving it normally. She's obviously concerned for her health, but a simple pair of horns is no big deal, just something to be curious about. At school though, there obviously is no avoiding people seeing something is different, resulting in Ruri being bombarded with questions by her classmates that are interested in what is going on with her head. Even her teacher directly seeing it and asking what's going on with her horns. But yet everyone is oddly chill, accepting the circumstances and just moving on with class. I overall must admit I love the casual dialogues. Those casual voices from the back always commenting something little like, "Cool horns you got there, Aoki. Oh, for real?" The teacher just totally chill, asking to not leave him out of all the fun. It's all a little goofy, but not too goofy to make it feel unrealistic and cartoony. It's the right amount of jokey nature that makes me smile and laugh, and also something that solely works in a medium like manga or anime. I mean, just convert the scene to live action. This won't just have the same energy, but be cringy to look at. In this moment, you can see her rather shy, introverted, almost socially overwhelmed personality starting to come out. She seems nervous all the time, and especially at school break, when everyone has the time to get to her for questioning, you can see how she isn't able to say directly no to anyone, being always okay when someone wants to touch her horns and feels forces to just accept. Even though you can see she's clearly extremely overwhelmed with what is going on here. Even at the beginning, directly answering, "Quit it, don't look at me." I mean, even her friend is calling out that talking to people might not be the entire fair thing of her, but also still believing it could be very good for her. And at this point we also should glimpse a little into Yuki Hagiwara, her best friend that is extremely unutilized, yet every time you see her, she's a beautiful character. She obviously is Ruri's best friend, that is without doubt a very good one. When meeting up with her, she of course is seeing the horns, shortly shocked about them. Yet the first question isn't about them, but you feeling okay? Smiling when hearing everything is alright and just moving on. She is caring, and the most important thing for her is first and foremost that Ruri is fine. She cares about her friend to an extent that feels almost motherly, giving her a strawberry when eating together and asking yet again if there has been any changes besides the horns. So I guess it's finally time for this video. Let's talk at least about one name of the characters, as Hagiwara Yuka has actually, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful names of the entire current cast we know. Her last name, Hagiwara, is split into the kanji Hagi, with the meaning bush clover, a beautiful flower that symbolizes in Japan melancholy and unrequited love, according, for example, the art of Susuku Harunobu. But also, as this flower is a short-lived autumn flower, she aligns with the Japanese aesthetic concept of mono no aware, that translated means the sadness of things, that embodies the transient nature of beauty and sadness of things passing away. But I think especially these more sad aspects aren't what we should focus on, but the beauty of this very beloved flower. And then there is the kanji awara, with the yet simple meaning meadow, being all somewhat translated into a meadow full of bush clover, a truly beautiful thought, and hence name. Her first name, Yuka, is split into the kanji yu, that means abundant and rich, and ka for smell or perfume. And such a lovely name isn't a coincidence, as Shindo themselves answered the question in an interview if there is any character they are particularly fond of. As the one drawing the manga, I always feel like she's there to support me. She's like a dependable friend who will always be there for me. Also very fitting to her role in the story. Yet still, here you get to spend some time with her, but as the bush clover, this time is short-lived. It's the reason why I call her unutilized. And this sounds very like I'm going to build this up to say that she dies. She doesn't die, okay? Spoiler. She's just not going to play a huge role in the front rows of the story. But like Shindo said themselves, she will always be there for them. As they continue school, Ruri is not only just falling asleep in class, very base of her by the way, that's the shonen hero I can't see myself in, but also when she's forced to read out loud as punishment, she must sneeze and spits a big flame of fire. And oh, the panel! It's so cool to look at! The perspective of the bending room in combination of seeing a few characters' reaction towards them just witnessing this outburst, it's really cool. So cool that someone even made a full-fledged animation of it. And it looks like it could have come from a real production, like, what a goat. As this happens, the repercussions are coughing blood as she just has spit fire out of her mouth. Obviously looking very unwell. But no problem for her, saying she's fine and there's nothing to worry about. It looks as if she's almost panicky, saying I'm fine, totally fine, just a little hot, not wanting to be even a slight inconvenience to everyone, before losing conscience. And here I am, needing to ask the important question that this incident has brought up in me as well. Well, what kind of dragon is Ruri actually? As the mother says at the beginning when Ruri finds her horns, Ruri isn't a dragon, she is a Ryu. Ruri even pointing this exact wording out multiple times, meaning her father isn't a Western dragon. The type the probably most of you know, but an Eastern dragon that is in its mythology entirely different, yet still sharing some characteristics such as hoarding gold and artifacts, and are, as much as I know, not capable of spitting fire. The Ryu or Tatsu are strongly connected to the water, considered as the water gods living in palaces at the bottom of the seas or other secluded places far away from human inhabitants, being creatures that are heavily associated with controlling the weather, hence farmers are praying to them for a good harvest, making them very important in the Japanese folklore. But there are also the Ryu, 8 dragon kings from Buddhism that inherit godlike abilities. So as long as her father is part of them, well, potentially she could spit fire, I guess? Especially as future abilities also resemble at least one of them. But different to the east, someone who can spit fire are our Western dragons, that were described of not only capable of spitting fire, but also inheriting poisonous blood. Again, something also Ruri must deal with later on. That is, by the way, also the trait of the Tokushaka, a Ryu, part of the 8 kings, that its signature is to possess a deadly poison he fights evil spirits with. His name is literally meaning poisonous glaze. Still, for sure Western dragons are definitely part of her in some way. Even though, I hope not. Because we all know those cool new modern dragon designs. Just looking at how to train your dragon, you will see a mass of medieval type dragons that are just very cool. With their scaly skin, cool fire breathing abilities, nice horn designs, and so on. Being basically really cool big reptiles. But the original description and art of a medieval dragon, what kind of abomination is that? Why are medieval dragons so disgusting? Considering all of this, the father from the one-shot was also clearly more likely to be a medieval dragon, drawn with wings and all that stuff. Yet also the complete opposite is the case. And to make it even worse, in one of the front pages, Ruri is also drawn with wings, resembling a Western dragon. What would either mean she's at least partially Western, or she's a Ryu with wings. What would also mean that she is a high Ryu, that is the highest form of the metamorphosis. And also sometimes a terrorizing asshole. This is starting to get very frustrating. Okay, to not move too far into this random mythology that at this point won't bring us anywhere, obviously Ruri's abilities are just a mixture of many dragons, and spitting fire is just something heavily associated with dragons overall. I mean, even Ryu are also just an abomination of the Chinese Long and the Indian Naga, that at least in the Naga's case, one Google research claims, yes, very risky, that a certain type was at least able to spit fire. But overall, I think it's just interesting to see how this manga, even though it's obvious, is taking some inspiration of actual dragon mythology, especially considering that the Ryu is a highly valued being in Japan. And I think Ruri is actually a really cool modern representation of such mythology. Okay, sorry, this was maybe a little too much. And so does their names also comply with this entire dragon theme. The mother's name and Ruri's shared last name, Aoki, is split into the following kanji. Ao, that means green, and ki, tree or wood. So the last name is practically green tree, but I interpret as being distanced from the dragon world, as the color green as well as the trees are more associated with the earth and not the sea. While the first name of Ruri is made after the kanji Ru for lapis lazuli and Ri for glassy, so glassy lapis lazuli. That refers to her dragon side, as lapis lazuli symbolizes wisdom and spiritual growth, being blue like the sea. Also her hair are blue, so might be probably more that one. And the same counts for her mother's name, Umi. That is the word and obviously kanji for the sea. And as I already established, Ryo are creatures of the sea. Both are humans entangled to the dragon world somehow, so both names inheriting parts of each world. Back in the story, after the incident, Ruri must go to the hospital room as she lost consciousness and coughed up a lot of blood, where her mother is running instantly to her, looking if she's doing alright. She might look very chilly, but this woman is one goated mother. After all, they go back home and a very important conversation that really makes their bond truly shine appears. Obviously, after Ruri's life is being turned upside down today, even though she seems relaxed about it, it's her mother not telling her anything about the possibility of this happening that it really hurts her. She feels betrayed that her mother never even thought about informing her about this very big possibility. It's something you can really understand out of Ruri's position. Why did you keep it all a secret? Huh? About my father being a Ryo or whatever. At the same time, you also get her mother. It's fair, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be some big secret, but I didn't see the need to sit you down and have a special talk. I mean, who knew those pointy things would pop out of your noggin? Both in their respective view have valid points, I believe. Yet what is the most important is they are clearly speaking their mind. No anger, nothing. Just them making their points very clear so they are able to understand each other. Her mother is apologizing. I'm sorry I couldn't find the right way to tell you your dad's a dragon. Yet Ruri corrects her. It's been you and me my whole life, and the whole time you kept this secret. It makes me feel weirdly alone. It feels like such a human conversation between a real mother and a daughter that forged a real deep bond with each other, both caring and listening to each other, and I think this is an aspect Shindo's writing is really enhancing here, as they are capable of truly writing some really good conversations. And no worries, this won't stop from here on. Overall, I must admit I'm an incredibly big fan of her mother. Not only is she super fun and a very amusing character, you can also really easily see from where Ruri got her chill vibes from. Simultaneously, she also encapsulates motherhood perfectly to me. Throughout this entire first chapter, she has done so much we didn't see. She has apologized to the entire class, guaranteed safety to everyone and that there will be a solution, giving Ruri the chance for a normal school life. She has informed the teachers since the beginning, so if something happens, it's taken care of. When she spit fire, hurting her throat, she is running towards the room because she is worried about her child. Still in front of her, she acts overly chill about it. She is doing this not for praise or Ruri being thankful to her. Well, obviously, she also would mind, but she does this all behind her back. She doesn't want her to know, to not worry her. She does this all because she loves her and she wants the best for her child, and that's the sole motive for her actions. Like, she would really move a mountain as long as it means Ruri can be happy. And I think it's just touching to know and makes her just a very pleasant, motherly character. I mean, the second she saw the horns, she climbed an entire mountain, probably far away from civilization, to visit her ex-husband and Ruri's father to get some intel on her, figuring out what kind of traits there might be to come. Even punching him when telling just let her be, getting sick of his nonsense, and we are not talking here about anyone. She is casually punching a mythical creature with godlike abilities. This woman is fundamentally nuts. I mean, that she was together with him to begin with. As mythological speaking, some Ryo or Tatsu allow worthy heroes to visit them, helping them with their wisdom. So how did she get acquainted with him in the first place? Like, not only an acquaintance, but they married and fucked. I think most people just don't realize what isn't spoken, but implicated here. By the way, if you ever asked yourself, how did she even get pregnant? There's actually a very plausible explanation in the Ryo's mythology. It actually is implicated to be possible to have such contact with Ryo, as they can disguise themselves into humans. The 8 kings, for example, the aforementioned Ryo, are actually most of their time in their human form. And also Ryo, aka Tatsu, are shapeshifter, able to disguise themselves as humans. So Ruri is canonically possible, I guess. And her mother, the person just laid with a dragon. I mean, she got my respect, no doubt. With the new situation unfolding and Ruri suddenly being able to breathe fire, and her mother now informed by her ex-husband about all the possible dragon traits Ruri might await, they need to do something against it. Ruri is in this state obviously endangering her classmates if she continues just randomly spitting fire like that. So there's no way around training the skill and figuring out how it works so Ruri can adapt to it. Yet she has no idea how it works, doing her best by sneezing over and over again, as this was the first thing to trigger this ability, yet nothing happens. Until they take a break, talk about her father, before she's suddenly feeling something inside of her, like me when I realize I need to vomit, finally spitting fire. Also, girl, what's going on with this fire croc drip? Even though I am confused how they feel so safe about her ability now. I mean, okay, her body has adapted and she isn't coughing blood anymore. Good for her, but how do they know that she isn't randomly spitting fire anymore? It's not as if this sudden burst fixed any of these problems. At least as far as my information go. Well, they feel safe at least, calling it a day and making some important visits to her grandma's place and go a little grocery shopping for the upcoming days. And here, another very important question arises. After all that happened and she basically not being part of humanity anymore, does Ruri even want to go back to school? And that wasn't a joke. With not being part of humanity anymore, apparently she doesn't have to be part of society anymore. And so school seems to be redundant. I guess she pays her bills differently as a dragon. And she also is reluctant first. She does feel really bad burning down the guy's hair. Until she meets, yet again, her friend Yuka. That is happy to see her and just screams a simple "See you at school." And so the deal is sealed. Ruri isn't going back. Hey, Ruri, we have talked about this. You have to go back to school for the plots. Well, even though she said she will, she also decided to take a little break, slack off at home, playing a little on her Switch, until her mother tricks her by calling yet again her best friend Yuka to pick her up. It's always Yuka. This girl is just too powerful. And also, why does Yuka here look a little like a human Kirby? So she's being forced to school. Even though it might look like at first glance that Ruri is slacking off, something that would honestly fit her quite well, staying at home playing video games all day and avoiding responsibility, that's because she is. She's definitely, she's slacking off. Yet in her defense, she also worries and is avoiding school not because it's fun, but because she is scared. Like, how do the people receive her now after she has literally endangered everyone in front of her? She's scared that people might see her as a dragon monster now. And even though Yuka ensures her that everyone is more intrigued than scared, that it is more the opposite, that she should go to school because else the rumors will only get crazier as they currently at the leading theory, bioorganic weapon, well, she still overthinks and worries. And when she's back at school, even though everyone is super chill about what just happened, and with everyone, I mean everyone, as even the dude who has been set on fire is totally fine with it. I mean, his hair were getting too long anyway. Bro totally forgot this was an accident with the razor. He was set on fire. Yet after all, Ruri still worries. She believes with her current state, she doesn't belong there anymore. So she asks her teacher directly, "Are you sure it's okay for me to be here at school?" And in short, yes, she obviously is. We just all need to get along with each other. And so Ruri accepts and continues to go to school. So she has to deal with yet another problem. Oh my god, let this girl get some rest. She needs to keep up with school. And being in high school and missing an entire week, you know, they don't say Japan's high schools to be particularly distressing. So she needs help. But neither does her friend Can help as she barely manages to keep up herself, nor does she want to ask the nice guy as he's a boy and boys are scary, nor the girl next to her as she's a too sunny ball of sunshine. She's just trying to deal with the problem herself, failing. She doesn't get anything. Facing one of her biggest early character flaws, she's completely dissocial. As she struggles with going through the notes, Kashiro, the sunny ball of sunshine next to her, offers her help. Yet Ruri doesn't want to take it, being outright annoyed by her. At least her expression doesn't seem to be happy. She must literally force herself upon her to prove that she can be of help for Ruri to accept her. As Kashiro helped her, they obviously talk a little about themselves. Here it is where not only does Ruri say that she thought Kashiro is bad at school because simply of her hair, but also the aforementioned dislike of Sunny Ball of Sunshines. That shows how Ruri's actually thinking the worst of people before meeting them, judging them by first sight. But how Kashiro changes the conversation, how yet again she's also speaking up her mind, telling that she feels the same about her because of his judgy personality. She can't deal with her properly. So both now know that they basically don't like each other. Yet Kashiro ends this conversation with something I think is changing just everything. I chat people up in the hopes that that weird wall falls away. Since they stuck our seats next to each other, I'd rather get along than not. So try speaking up more, Ruri, even if you're just peeking over the wall. It's a very simple metaphor, a wall built between them that prevents each other figuring each other out. But what I like about it, it's not only honest about their situation, but shows Kashiro's real intents to at least get to know each other. Yet overall still considering Ruri's feelings. She's not forcing nor asking directly to talk, but to just maybe her peek over the wall once and then. She just wants to be good with her, creating at least a better climate between them. And so she does her part, inviting Ruri to a Starbucks learning session to get her through the material, giving her a chance to go through everything she skipped and getting to know each other. It's a great opportunity for Ruri to get out of her comfort zone, meet new people, make new friends. But for her, this is also very distressing. She takes the offer but asks Yuka to be her lifeline. That has no time. So Ruri has to manage this completely alone. But the Starbucks meetup is really sweet. I especially love how it's not like Ruri is instantly having a great experience whatsoever, but is actually a little overwhelmed with the options Starbucks has, and starting this entire meeting with an extremely high heart rate. Honestly, it's not as if I haven't been already at this position as well, like it's really relatable. But she's going through this, and her friends are helping her out. So in the end, it becomes a very pleasant experience to her. This is a moment for Ruri where she understands that she can work with people. In the end, even though she has judged probably most of them beforehand, she realizes they are all so decent. Going out and meeting up helped her immensely, and this is the first great step for socializing. Also, how she asks at the end for a photo to send it to Yuka so she knows she's fine and making progress is just so cute, oh my god. Also her reaction with this very proud smile like, oh, Yuka, you're the GOAT, you're just the GOAT. So in the end she heads back home, eats together with her mom takoyaki and tells her about school. It's a very sweet conversation, ending with them heading to their Wii, playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii all night, casually just finishing the game in one go, in only one evening. Also hating on the graphics together. Like, they are average Nintendo enjoyers, I see. After all that happened, tomorrow comes, and a new day begins. Ruri decides to continue going to school, as if nothing has ever happened, taking this challenge head on, as she has overcome those negative thoughts of not being allowed to be there anymore after the reassurance at this Starbucks meetup. And so the last panel of this arc is once again Ruri, heading to the door, ready to go. But this time, instead of being gloomy, she smiles, ready and happy about going for a new day with her friends. A truly beautiful mirror to that first panel. Also, they have a katana umbrella? Such things exist? If it wasn't already blatantly obvious, I love this beginning of the story. It works so well and could easily be a little one-shot of someone just starting to learn how to socialize. I mean, it is indeed its origin. Ruri Dragon is a beautiful manga, and first reading it, I fell instantly in love. It has such a funny way to use its characters, a heartwarming development with Ruri that makes you constantly cheer for her, and a super cool mythical and unordinary factor with the dragon traits. Like, all of it is deeply entangled with each other. It's not Ruri socializing but also being a dragon, but being a dragon made Ruri socialize. Both progressions align with each other. But it's not her being a dragon that made people like her, as we're able to see at the selfie moment at the beginning. Yes, they were intrigued by the horns, but the girls didn't make the selfie because of them. It was never about the horns. But Ruri finally opening up to some people that gave them the chance to interact with her. So being a dragon was and is never this cheat code for her, but the catalyst to progress. If you have read this manga weekly up to this point, there will be one more chapter, and then the manga suddenly ends. As it's sadly ordinary in the scene, Masaoki Shindo sadly had to deal with some health issues that prevent them from continuing working on this manga. So it has disappeared for a whole 2 years, without any sign of ever reappearing, more likely, never reappearing. It was a sad sign, seeing such promising story just dying at its beginning, yet this was reality. But, and this sounds brutal, I am honestly glad about it. This hiatus was the reason why I always heard new things about the story, why Ruri Dragon was sometimes in my shorts feed. And so one night I chose to go through the first chapters, and as I said, I fell in love with it. And how Destiny felt this day, short after we were greeted with the reappearance of this masterpiece. After 2 long years, Shindo came back. Hopefully in better condition, working now instead for Weekly Shonen Jump for the digital version Jump Plus. And so, a beautiful story is allowed to become fully fleshed out, and I couldn't be happier about it.